Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to News Dose, where I give you all of the latest news in the gaming world. And yeah, so CES 2020 has been going on, and a lot of game-related news has come out of CES, such as a new PC Nintendo Switch-like device, which looks pretty cool. And then you had PlayStation there last night during the Sony keynote, and well, they kind of left fans scratching their heads as to why this was even a presentation in the first place. It was just such an odd announcement, and if you didn't watch this presentation, you'll understand why I'm saying this here in just a moment when we discuss it. We do have a few other things to discuss as well, and actually it was a pretty heavy news day. So a few of the things that we will talk about is Pokemon Direct, which got announced for this month. Then you have Platinum Games, they got a new investor, and Pikmin may be coming out this year, so stay tuned for all that. But I do want to update everybody on something we talked about on yesterday's News Dose first. I'll make this real quick, but as we talked about yesterday, during the AMD keynote, they announced a short video of the Xbox Series X, and it kind of revealed what the ports were on the Xbox Series X. However, AMD did give us an update later on that this was actually a fake and it was just a render taken from turbosquid.com. I really don't know why AMD did this, honestly, but Brad Sams got the details on what the actual ports are, though he did note that they are subject to change, so keep that in mind. I'll put a link to his video below so you can go check that out, but for the time being, it does have two Super Speed 3.0 or maybe even 3.1 Type A USB ports, an Ethernet, digital optical out, a single HDMI port, and a mystery port that we don't really know much about yet. I've seen some speculation on it that it could possibly be an NVMe slot, but we'll have to wait and see on that. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's get into the video, starting with this weird PlayStation 5 announcement. So as you may know, it was heavily rumored last week that PlayStation may be revealing the PlayStation 5 at CES 2020, and I was kind of skeptical about this last week when the rumors started to first pop up. To me, it just didn't really seem like a great place to reveal it, because honestly, CES isn't really, they're not game focused, but I did keep an eye on this conference just like I said I would, so I got the privilege of watching this live, and when Jim Ryan walked out on stage, in my mind I'm thinking, they really are going to show the PS5 here. You can just immediately feel the shift towards a big announcement as he walks out on stage and the expectations, and it's just a matter of time by this point. So Jim Ryan comes out to speak and the room is completely silent, and he is talking about the success of the PlayStation 4. It sold 106 million units, which is outstanding. They sold 1.15 billion games and 5 million PlayStation VR headsets, and this is just all fantastic news and really a big congratulations to Sony on this achievement. It really is a big deal, but you're still sitting there as you can just feel this leading up to a big announcement. And then bam! PS5 is shown. And literally, it's just the letters, PS5. They reveal the PlayStation 5 logo, which is basically what you would expect it to be, but there still is hope that they're going to possibly show something more. I mean, they have to, right? Just even specs would be nice, but nope, that was it. And Jim Ryan basically said goodbye, and we would hear more about the PlayStation 5 in the coming months. I couldn't help but just sit there and laugh, and I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but I don't think PlayStation could have made a stranger announcement than this. It's as if they completely read the room wrong. Whose idea was it to make a long-winded speech about the PlayStation 4's success on a tech stage, and nothing more than a PlayStation 5 logo? I mean, to be fair, it did confirm that it does have hardware-based ray tracing, which some people did question, so that's a good at least, but I can honestly say never have I put any thought into what the PlayStation 5 logo was. I mean, I've never put any thought into the Xbox or Nintendo logo either, yet here we are where Sony reveals the PlayStation 5 logo as if it needed to be on a live keynote, and it's pretty much what you would expect. The PS4 logo, but with a 5 instead. In fact, it's been basically the same logo since the PS3 Slim released. I'm just blown away that this was on stage, and they didn't have anything else to show. I have heard theories that maybe Sony was going to show something, but because Xbox revealed the Series X chip yesterday, that they maybe shied away from it, but I don't really put too much stock into that. You know, the thing is, if they would have even given us a date to look forward to regarding the PlayStation 5 reveal, I think that would have at least been more exciting. Nonetheless, I do hope we don't have to wait for too much longer to get the full PlayStation 5 reveal. I'm really hoping we'll hear something about it sometime in February. Moving on though, Alienware showed an interesting device at CES, which looks very similar to the Nintendo Switch. That does seem to be a bit of a trend here recently. I mean, the Switch design is pretty genius to be completely honest, so I would expect more devices to be designed around that idea. We of course just saw Razer release the JungelCat, which attaches to your phone to make it into a Switch-like device, and they even announced another controller like that today by the name of Razer Kishi, but it's actually compatible with a lot more phones and has the Xbox controller layout to it. This Alienware prototype though is an actual PC, which is very exciting. Now, this is just a prototype right now, and this may never make it into retail, but they're kind of showing you what is possible at the very least. And this would be a nice machine to play your PC games on a dedicated mobile device. I really like this idea a lot, and I would like to see them continue development with it. I'd actually be tempted to try this out for myself. And speaking of the Nintendo Switch, Nintendo filed a few different patents including Zelda, Animal Crossing, Splatoon, and the really interesting one here is Pikmin. Now the thing is, a patent doesn't necessarily mean they will be working on a new game, but this doesn't stop speculation from happening, and when you see Pikmin on this list, of course people start to believe that Pikmin may actually be in Nintendo's plans. Well, that's where I think things get really interesting, because as I noted in yesterday's video, insider Emily Rogers, which does have a good track record, claims that there will be 2 more Wii U remastered games on the Nintendo Switch coming this year. So when you piece the two together, it's very possible that Pikmin 3 could be coming to the Nintendo Switch, and that's really good news. The Wii U didn't exactly sell all that well, and I'm thinking it sold like less than maybe 15 million units or something like that, though that is off the top of my head. I'm not really sure on those numbers. But I think that Pikmin 3 deserves better than that. I mean, it's a great game. And if it does get ported to the Switch, that's great. I mean, it gives a lot more people the chance to play it. Again, though, there is no confirmation on this just yet, just more or less speculation by this point, but I am really hopeful that this will happen. Staying on topic of Nintendo, Pokemon Direct got announced for January 9th, and this was a real surprise to me. See, we had been hearing about a Nintendo Direct coming in January for a little while now, which would make a lot of sense for multiple reasons. Maybe the new Super Smash Bros. Ultimate character, you have Animal Crossing and Tokyo Mirage Sessions right around the corner, as well as some other stuff, so I thought it would be logical to have a new Nintendo Direct this month. What I didn't expect, however, was it is apparently a Pokemon Direct, and it's 20 minutes long. That's pretty lengthy, and it does have me wondering what they could possibly show here. Right now I'm seeing a lot of speculation over Diamond and Pearl remakes, which I think that's very possible. Game Freak has been doing that for a little while now, where they release a remake between mainline releases. I've also seen people kind of guess that it may be Detective Pikachu 2. That would actually be pretty cool if that were to happen. And hey, maybe it could even be Pokemon Sword and Shield DLC. Maybe they're adding some more Pokemon that didn't make the cut originally, or who knows. It could be a lot of different things, but we don't have to wait too long, and as a big Pokemon fan myself, I'm excited to see this Pokemon Direct. Now the last thing I want to talk about is Platinum Games, the developers behind Astral Chain and Nier Automata, because they have agreed to a partnership with Tencent. Tencent has kind of secretly been taking over the entire game industry, but this has been revealed to be more of an investment. Platinum Games CEO Kenichi Sato immediately dispelled any concerns over their independence and did say they will remain as an independent developer, and what they strive to do with this new investment is to start self-publishing as well as reach a wider global perspective. Platinum Games of course has kind of acted as a hired mercenary for a long while by this point. They worked with Nintendo on Wonderful 101, Bayonetta, and they recently released Astral Chain. Then they worked with Square Enix on Nier Automata, and Xbox with Scalebound, and unfortunately that did get cancelled, and so on and so forth. But here it seems they no longer want to go in that direction. They want to be able to make the decisions themselves and publish their own games. That'll be very interesting because I think Platinum Games is an extremely talented developer and one of my favorite developers actually right now. So I'm excited about this, and they could possibly be looking to release on multiple platforms going forward. I think that they were pretty successful releasing Nier Automata as a multi-platform release, and I'd like to see them be able to do that more often. Anyways though, that is it for this episode, but if you liked the video, don't forget to hit the bell notification and subscribe button. Peace out.